it was an intense prayer on my part, I would say. I've never prayed like this before. We all think of Swami as a wish fulfiller. We hardly think of him as a well-wisher, who wishes well even when in times of trouble. And it is a big, huge step, I must say. And these 45 years have taught me how we should approach Swami. Sairam, my humble pranams to Bhagavan, Shri Satya Sai Baba, and to all the devotees, and to my grandparents and to my parents, Charan Sprash. When I was in my secondary school days, particularly when I was in my secondary 2, that was the 8th standard, a friend of mine basically gave me one of these pocket calendars with Swami's photo in it, which had the words, "Help ever, hurt never." I didn't think much of it, but something told me just to keep it in my wallet, and right up to this day it has been with me, and I didn't know that the impact it would have since. These are some, looking back, you could say calling cards that Swami always says, miracles are my calling cards, but to me this is a miracle in some sense, and when I look back, it has been with me, and through my trials and tribulations in my life, it has helped me in many ways just to keep my focus on Swami. The next big step forward where my faith in Swami had a big change, had a big impact, was when I was doing my national service at the age of 18 in Singapore. I was put in a situation where something that I did not do had implications on me. Big implications in that it would bring about huge consequences subsequently, both to me and to my family, to my parents particularly, and to my grandparents who were looking after me at that time in Singapore. My parents were in Malaysia at that time, and what happened was I had only 15 minutes time given to prove my innocence, and I was in desperate need at that time of some help. I did not approach my grandparents because I didn't want them to be troubled by the troubles I was going through at that age. What happened? I opened my wallet. It was just before I was having my morning bath in the camp. I opened my wallet and I saw Swami's photo. Prior to this, I didn't think much of it, but then when I saw that photo, it basically something came through me. I asked, I told him, listen, I understand you do miracles for people who are in trouble. This is a time of need. I have nobody to turn to. I'm only relying on you and nobody else. I have nobody else to turn to. I had my bath, I came out, I took the wallet, put it into my shirt pocket at the time, and walked to the office where I was to face the consequences, the verdict. And lo and behold, I only had about 10 minutes left before the verdict was to be pronounced, and the entire situation took a 180-degree turn. To my surprise, to everybody's surprise, in fact, even my superior was surprised, and he said, "What did you do to make this happen?" I mean, this is where Swami's grace, I had no other explanation to give. It was an intense prayer on my part, I would say. I've never prayed like this before. We all think of Swami as a wish fulfiller. When we go to him with problems, we want our problems to be solved, be it monetary, be it relationships, be it studies, exams, whatever problems that you have. We go to him with that problems. Even today, we approach him with problems. But we hardly think of him as a well-wisher, who wishes well even when in times of trouble. And it is a big, huge step, I must say. And these 45 years have taught me how we should approach Swami. My next challenge I had was when I was abroad. I was in the UK for about 15 odd years to do my studies, my postgraduate. And there were several challenges that I had faced. I was in a country, I was in Ireland, and there was hardly any bhajans that I could attend at that time, particularly in Dublin, in the late 70s and early 80s. But nonetheless, every morning was sitting with Swami just for 5 or 10 minutes to pray with him, to pray to him, to be with me. And he ensured that the kind of company I kept, the housemates I had, looking back, how grounded they were to values that Swami always emphasizes. Be in good company. It will not lead you astray. These were very, very important. My housemates, one was a Christian, one was a Muslim. And both of them were grounded in their values. Very accommodative, but yet grounded. These were things that, looking back, I can only, offer my humble pranams to Swami and nothing else.